Hey guys, so just wanted to drop a quick vlog. Um, I have not moved very much from the flat, because Britain is going through a bit of a heat wave right now. And, they're even talking about like amber alerts, like the heat advisory is in the amber category, whatever that means. So I have not been going out walking very much, even though I probably should. And, I have, I don't know if you guys can see, but I have my laundry bag packed up with clothes. And that bottle on the top is for glass, because there's a thing over here. We have two trash receptacles in here. One is for like regular trash, and the other is for like paper, cardboard, that kind of thing. Plastic containers, that kind of thing. But there's they don't have a place for glass. So, but as I know I mentioned before, I usually walk down across the street a little bit and go down the road, and there's a little laundromat on the corner a little ways. And as you're going along the way, there's a place where you can drop off glass jars and bottles and all that kind of stuff. So I've got that all packed up and ready to go, but uh, it's just way too hot and humid over here. This is unusual for the UK, I've been told. Um, so it's been mainly, I've just been, like, it's still hot in here, but I have a rotating fan that's currently going right now, and, you know, gets to the point where where, like, maybe I don't wear as much clothes as I would normally. I am fully clothed today, though. I have shorts and my shirt on and everything, but there have been times where it's just been like, eh. But on the plus side, starting tomorrow, it's supposed to start getting a little bit cooler. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we're supposed to have rain, which should hopefully help cool it off some more. So I'm just kind of waiting um, till then. And also kind of waiting because currently, as right now, I don't have a lot of money in my account. Um, Keith, because I haven't found a part time job yet. Although I've been looking, um, it's just a little difficult because a lot of the jobs that I found online are like retail's not hiring right now, obviously, because it's close to Christmas and all that. And so, they're probably trying to get by on, um, you know, they probably don't need to hire any extra people or anything like that. So, and the other thing is, I'm not entirely sure that I want to continue doing retail due to the fact that I've done it for years and I've kind of been burnt out on it and all that. Um, Also considering the fact that I use walking stick now and will need to sit down, and a lot of the stores I've got into, like if you're a cashier at some shops you can sit, but then I've gone into other stores and it's like everyone is just standing like normal, and it's like, don't know if I want to get back into that again. So again, it's kind of what do I want to do? And, because like I thought about doing social work, that kind of thing, but then for that, I don't know if I need to have a specific degree in that kind of thing. I also don't really know what area of social work I'd want to take part in, if that makes sense. Because there's like a bunch of different sub areas, There's working with the elderly, there's working with kids, there's working with people with special needs, there's, a bunch of different stuff. And I'm not entirely sure what I'd like to do. So I'm trying to kind of figure that out. And also, I'm still trying to work on the YouTube channel. See if I can get the YouTube channel going. Um, I mean, it's going. It's coming along, and I'm so thankful I've been able to upload a lot more, you know. But like last week, I didn't upload a whole lot, and I'm trying to catch up for that this week. Um, but it is also kind of hard sometimes. Um, just because sometimes I don't know what to post. Like this post is just gonna be me kind of rambling on about just different things. Oh, I do have a channel to recommend if any of you are into like witchy stuff, but also into um practical stuff. Um, I found a YouTube channel called Grumpy Old Crone of a lady who lives here in England. Not next door, I don't think, but a little bit farther out. She lives in like the suburbs, or like village somewhere. But she is very active, and I think she uploaded her first video like about a year ago. I watched her. She she kind of lives up to her name, but it's not just complaining about stuff. It's like she'll talk about like witchy subscription boxes, and whether she liked it or whether she didn't, and she'll talk about people who get into the witchiness, but more for the aesthetic purposes and more to be like a life coach or or whatever. But they haven't like practiced for very long. It's just kind of more of a you know doing this to make money, which I understand. You gotta support the hustle. But sorry, someone messaged me. I didn't see who it was before the screen went black again. Um, but yeah, so they have, she does a lot of fun fun stuff, kind of more talking to the camera like I'm doing now. But if you're at all interested in witchy stuff, if you're at all interested kind of taking advice from an older lady who's practiced witchcraft and all that, I would check her out. It's Grumpy Old Crone. And if you type her in on YouTube, you should be able to find her relatively quickly. That's the other thing I want to mention. I find it absolutely funny how, like, I still follow some of my American YouTubers and stuff. You know, like, still follow Mark Blair, Jacksepticeye, all that kind of stuff. And I found some more recent Americans that I follow. But I also like the algorithm over here is like, oh, you're in Britain now. Let's recommend these guys to you. And they're all people who live in England, who are Britain, who are British, and all that. And I just find that really kind of cool. It's like, oh, you're in this area. Let's. These people you might like, or whatever. I have one guy, I can't remember what his name was now, but like apparently he reacts to a lot of spooky content, kind of like Lori Lane, how she does the reacting to scary videos like Bizarre Bub and all that. Um, or like Hannah the Horrible or whatever. You know, he does that. So I haven't really seen much, but one of his videos just popped up in my algorithm yesterday, and I ended up watching it, and it was like, Ghost Hunters, stop doing this. And it made me curious because, up until recently, I haven't watched a lot of British Ghost Hunters yet. If you guys know of someone I would like, recommend them for me in the comments. Or post on the community thread and I'll check that out. Um, but yeah, he basically reacts to a lot of scary videos and stuff. But he did, and I can't even remember really what the purpose of the video was, which is maybe bad, but I don't know. I just found it kind of interesting. And like, I'm a little hesitant about a lot of reactors because I know a lot of them are like, you know, like they just stay quiet and they just react to parts of the video that seem interesting and stuff. And, it's like, okay, that's intriguing, but I don't know if I would be interested in watching somebody watch a video, if that makes sense. I guess it kind of depends on what they would say about the video and, like, what's the ratio of. Because I've watched a couple of videos, like Tyler Ramble, I think, is one of them, who does reactions of, like, Americans behaving badly in Britain or Americans not understanding how things work outside of America and all that. And it's like, for me, there's got to be a nice balance between, I don't want to be interrupted. I don't want to have the video be interrupted every few minutes, every few seconds to be like, oh, yeah, But on the other hand, I don't want somebody who's just going to sit and watch the video and not really say anything, because if that's the case, I could just watch the original video, and in my opinion, a lot of people should be doing that anyway. They should be watching the regular video and not just the person reacting to the video. And I know I'm weird. Some people probably like that. Some people probably like the being interrupted a lot to put in their 2 cents. At least he's trying, you know. But anyway, so but yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. It's not my thing. So I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of like, well, if you like that kind of stuff, watch that kind of stuff. I don't have a problem with it per se, as long as, the person reacting properly credits the videos that they're watching. Because sometimes it's more than one. If it's one video, you should probably credit that person so that maybe they get a watch, or somebody watching his reaction is like, it's like, hey, I want to check out and see what other kind of videos he does and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I just find that really kind of interesting, but kind of cool how now that I'm over here in Britain, the algorithm has slightly shifted, and it's like, okay, would you like this, or and it's usually something I would be interested in, like, the video that was recommended to me yesterday was reacting. He was talking about a ghost hunting channel he'd watched, and he ended up going into going into kind of a, not a lecture, but kind of a this is what I've noticed while reacting to these things. You may want to do this. Oh, and I do remember one of the things he said is that um, try to interact with your audience more. And, because a lot of times you start a video with these ghost hunters and they're out in front of somewhere and they're like, hey guys, we're here at the Sally house and we're gonna go in and, provoke these ghosts or whatever. And it's like I used to like to watch Watcher a lot, until they got into their little bit of controversy and tried to grow too much too fast, and in my opinion, anyway. And but yeah, so I do like watching the Ghost Hunter stuff as long as it's not like over the top. Some of these channels you watch, they would be like so freaking over the top, and like they try to provoke the ghost, and it's like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Because if you provoke the ghosts, they might come after you. And again, like I said, like I have no idea if ghosts are real, if, you know, I personally believe that there are things in this life that we can't explain. And, you know, like, I've seen a spirit or had a dream about a spirit and stuff. It was a good spirit. It was a spirit of my grandma on my mom's side. But, yeah, so, but I'm not here to tell y'all believe this way or, don't believe this way. Believe what you want to, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, as long as you're, studying it, researching it, that kind of thing. Yeah, you know. whatever. But yeah, so kind of forgot what I was gonna say there. But yeah, basically, hang on, you had something on you there. But yeah, so I'm just basically keeping it cool, or trying to anyway. Like it's so weird. I am so not used to this weather. Even like last August, when I first got here, we were in London and stuff. Like it didn't seem to be this hot to me. But and it's more of a humidity. Like it's very humid, and as someone who grew up in the Midwest, you can tell things are gathering and it's gonna be raining soon. But yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. I just want to stay inside where the fan is and where I can be at least somewhat protected. Well, and also, I used to get, and I think it's part of my hypothyroidism, but I used to get extremely dizzy when it was hot out, when I was out in the heat and everything. So I'm kind of nervous about going for a walk outside and then being like, and needing to sit down. And, while there are places out there to sit, sometimes they can be kind of not right next to each other. So it just kind of depends. But, yeah. So hopefully, fingers crossed, tomorrow will be much better and I'll be able to go walk or whatever, go get laundry done, which I need to get done because it's been piling up and stuff. And, well, a lot of that is because it gets very sweaty, and so a lot of my stuff is like damp in places, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Sometime this um hopefully sometime this week I'll be able to go out and do a little bit of walking around, go get laundry done, that kind of thing. Other than that, not really a whole lot to talk about. Um, D&D is going well. We're having a lot of fun. Um, we're kind of at the bit in the story where we kind of know who our main bad guy is, or we kind of know who one of the main bad guys is. And so we're kind of trying to figure out how to get a hold of this person or defeat this person. And so it's been kind of fun seeing the story lead up to there. Um, the other thing that I need to be doing, I'm going to try to get started on today, is for the Marvel site that I write for. We have every once in a while, we have like activity checks. And it basically, kind of a list your characters, show you're posting with these characters, that kind of thing. And so I gotta do that, but I'm also very excited because one of the members of the site who I post with fairly often recently just um started a new thread for us with one of my characters who I haven't played with in a while. It's Mercury. She's an X-Man. She has the ability to turn her body into metal. So, like, instead of having normal skin, like me or whatever, she has skin that's entirely made of soft, pliable metal. And so she can harden her skin, she can protect herself. And she was up in Canada, um, helping to fight vampires and all that, but she is heading back to, she used to be a student at Xavier School, and which is in New York, so she's back in there by now. And we're starting a thread where Xavier is sending at least Mercury to check out a suspicious circumstance, and so excited about that. But yeah, so I have to do some posting with that and then fill out the activity check thing and all that. And so I'll be doing that this afternoon. Um, Not sure what the next game is gonna be. Um, Also kind of depends on how it's going, on how the weather's gonna cooperate. Because if it cools off starting tomorrow, then I'll be going out more. And but if I wake up tomorrow and it's still hot and humid, I'm probably gonna stay in. And yeah, so it's gonna be so I might upload a game tomorrow. I know it's gonna be Wednesday tomorrow, so we'll see. I'm not entirely sure. I'm also not entirely sure which game I'm going to upload. But we'll think about that. I'll look at that this afternoon or evening as well. Um, like I said, might be Gone Home. That's kind of a fun little game, but it's not terribly complicated. It's just kind of a search for clues kind of game, which might be kind of fun, especially after Scarlet Hollow. You know, maybe we want a game that's more relaxed, a little bit more like, oh, let's look here, oh, let's look here. And I apparently still haven't found a couple of journal entries in the game, so that might be kind of fun. Um, or like I said, we could start a new game of Chef RPG, which is fun. That's kind of like Stardew Valley, but owning a restaurant rather than a farm. Um, and there's a couple other games we could play as well. So, again, if you have any ideas, let me know. Let me know in the comments or community tab. I'll check those later. But yeah, just kind of wanted to ramble at you guys a little bit, talk to you, um, share a little bit of what's been going on in my life, and yeah, so I hope you guys are having a good week. Um, and yeah, I will definitely be doing something a little later on this week as far as gameplay. Um, but like I said, I don't know for sure what yet. I still need to decide. I need to go into my Steam library and go, that would, or whatever. But yeah. Um. So anyway, hope you guys have a good rest of your week. I will be coming at you again with another gameplay video sometime, hopefully this week. Um. Other than that, have a good rest of the week. Have a good rest of your day. And I will talk to you later. Bye.